You were from Tulane, or had been working down there?
Yeah, well, I went to Arkansas State University. That's where
Me and you have a little bit of that in common there.
Been from Truman, and my first job was at Tulane University, and I worked there for 3 years. And Coach Bryant at that time called me. In fact, the second year I was there, I guess 1961, and he didn't know me from Adam's house cat. But Fred Russell, the very distinguished sports columnist and sports editor of the Nashville Banner, they were very good friends going back to the days when Coach Bryant was on the staff at Vanderbilt, and Fred had recommended me to Coach Bryant. He called and offered me a job, and it was like the first game of the season at Tulane. I was fixed to walk out the door and fly to California to advance our game. And Coach Bryant called and wanted to know if I'd be interested to come to work for him. And I said, well, I certainly would, thinking he was talking about the end of the year or something. And when he said, could you be here next Monday, I kind of choked up, and I said, and I don't know why, sometimes you say something that later on you're so glad you did, but you weren't smart enough to think about it. But I said something to him along the lines of that, Coach Bryant, if I was working for you now, you wouldn't want me to leave you this time of the year. And he said, I certainly would, and I appreciate that. Thank you, and hung up. Well, all the way flying out to California, I was kicking myself, because Tulane was not, we went 3-6-1, 2-8-0-10 the 3 years I was there. Ooh. And so, it was not a fun time for the standpoint of winning football games. So things rocked on. Anyway, I left Tulane and went with the NCAA. And while I was with the NCAA, Coach Bryant got in touch with me again, and had not really done anything down at Alabama, and asked me if I'd be interested. And I said yes, I would. And so he said, well, I'll call you at home. I was living in Kansas City, and I said okay. So I got back to Kansas City, and I was afraid to go out at night.
Right.
He'd call and I wouldn't be there or something, and that went on for like 3 months. And finally he called, and they were in Hot Springs, Arkansas, he and Mrs. Bryant, and said he's sorry to be so late getting to me, but he'd been out big dogging, as he called it, with some of his friends out in California. And so anyway, make a long story short, that's when we got together.
And my understanding, there's a pretty